Welcome back to You Versus. Today we are covering Scream 2. This movie was rushed and the script was apparently a mess due to leaks and rewrites. But fortunately, I still don't believe there's a Scream that has let me down. Until Scream 7, which hopefully will not. But enough talking, let's get into the film. The movie opens in a cinema with the characters Maureen and Phil, who are watching the movie Stab, which is based on the events of the first film, which definitely gets confusing in the future. I am not giving advice for a movie that's inside a movie, by the way. Phil then scares Maureen while she's getting snacks, and then he goes to the bathroom. He goes into a bathroom stall and hears weird noises in the stall next to him, which actually hint to who the killer is. He puts his head against the wall to listen better, but is stabbed through the wall in his ear, which kills him. He could have easily prevented this by either walking out of the bathroom or just locking the stall so nobody could get to him. Ghostface then sits next to Maureen, which she noticed isn't her boyfriend when she feels the blood on him, but it's too late and she's stabbed in front of a crowd with anyone noticing. She calls to the stage and takes a last scream before dying. She could have prevented this by recognising her boyfriend looks and acts different. Then she could have said she's getting popcorn or something, and then hide someone in the movie theatre where he can't find you. Too bad she went on a Madagascar trip.
Oh, wow!
Oh, it was just a Jada Pinkett joke. We meet Gail Weathers and her new cameraman Joel, who has a fan following around named Debbie Salt. Yeah, Debbie Salt, nothing else. Dewey, aka Honeydew, has a sitcom opening when meeting up with Sydney, and these two generally have a sweet relationship with each other. We have a roundup of our future victims, including Hayley, Sydney's new friend, Derek, who is dating Sydney, Mickey, who owns a clubhouse and is obsessed with sequels, and finally Cotton, who is framed for Sydney's mum's murder. Sydney slaps Gail again, and Joel does a funny clap back against Hayley.
Did you get that on film? Yes, I got that on film.
Gail and Dewey meet each other again, and it's revealed they've had a fallout due to Gail calling him dim-witted. But don't worry, they'll get back together again. Sydney and Hayley arrive at a frat party where they meet up with a future urban legend killer and someone who really meant their hi.
Hi! No, I really mean that. Hi.
We cut to a girl named Cece who gets called by Ghostface on the phone when she's chilling on her couch. We quickly find out there's two killers when we see Ghostface sneak up behind Cece when he's still calling them. That same Ghostface chases Cece upstairs and manages to throw her over a balcony, killing her. She very easily could have survived this by calling for help instead of her friend when she literally hears someone go upstairs. Or she could have went out with her other friend when she also went out to the party. Sydney is called by Ghostface, who was in front of her without her seeing. Derek fights off Ghostface without anyone seeing, which makes people suspicious of him. Poor guy was just trying to save people. Gail Weathers figures out it's a copycat killer, with the victims' names aligning with the previous victims from the last film. We then go to the scariest scene in the whole movie, an out-of-tune song being performed in the school cafeteria to their lover while standing on the table. Let's be honest, no one would have clapped if this was realistic. If it was further set into the future, it would have been filmed on TikTok and posted. Whilst Randy and Dewey talk, we see more scenes of Stab, which don't make sense for how perfect they are, since there's no way Sydney would have gave away that information. Randy discusses the rules of sequels, and only mentions that there will be more bodies and there will be more bloody. Sydney talks with her theatre teacher, where he's actually kind to her, which is actually quite a nice change of pace from normal films. During the play rehearsals, Sydney gets some sort of PTSD flashback from the last movie. Whilst Randy, Gail and Dewey try to figure out why this movie was so rushed, Ghostface calls them and taunts them to find him. Randy stays on the line while Dewey and Gail tries attacking everyone with the phone. Unfortunately, this leaves Randy being alone and murdered brutally in a news van. This is the only death I'm sad to see go, but at least I don't have to say his name much anymore with a lisp. He could have survived this attack by staying out in the open near the fields while Dewey and Gail tried to find the killer, but instead he was viciously murdered. Sydney gets Ghostface messages while on the school computer, and whilst Sydney's bodyguards are looking for the culprit, Cotton tries to convince Sydney to do an interview with him, but is overly aggressive and then acts like he didn't do anything stupid when the bodyguards attacked him. For some reason, I do not like Cotton, and I will not learn. I know a lot of Scream fans do, but I can't, and I don't know why. Joel the cameraman does the smartest thing anyone can do in this situation, by just getting in a taxi and leaving the film. Gail Weathers finally has a redemption in this scene. And this is also the scene where I realised Dewey's walking like Frankenstein, since he got stabbed in the spine, which I forgot to mention last episode. I'm sorry. They play footage that Joel captured, and after flirting, they are shown footage from the killer's POV, and it is revealed that Ghostface is watching them. Somehow, Ghostface teleports behind Gail, and she runs into what I assume is an editing room. She barricades herself in the soundproof room, and doesn't notice when Dewey is stabbed in the back again. Poor dude never even gets a break. Don't worry though, he survives. And then Ghostface teleports again somewhere where we don't know. Derek's frat bros kidnap him and tie him to the star from the play because he gave up letters. Yeah, I don't know either. Sydney, her bodyguards, and Haley are attacked in a car, causing the car to crash, which knocks out Ghostface. Which is the perfect time to end this, since he literally had a knife that he used to kill bodyguard 1. They don't even check to see who's under the mask either, since they try to get out of the car instead. But they argue instead of running or fighting, which leads to Ghostface teleporting again and murdering Haley. This was most likely due to a rewrite of Scream 2, since the original script got leaked where the original killers were Cotton, Debbie and Haley. But it changed to Debbie and a mystery person who will be revealed later. Gail comes out of the booth and sees Cotton covered in blood, which makes Gail suspicious of him, and she calls the police on a payphone that she steals off Debbie sold. I wonder who she was calling. Sydney ends up at the theatre stage and sees Derek tied up to the star, but Ghostface tells her not to untie him, and reveals himself as Mickey, who then shoots Derek and kills him.
I'm sorry.
I would have hurt you. Never.
Mickey reveals that he doesn't have a motive and he just wants to be a famous serial killer, which, due to the stab movies, is gonna happen. Sydney and him fight, and then they play peekaboo, and then Mickey reveals our second killer, Debbie Salt, also known as Mrs. Loomis, also known as
Billy's mother!
Mrs. Loomis then betrays Mickey and shoots him dead. Mrs. Loomis' motive is obviously revenge for her son, and how Sydney's family ruined her family's life, even though it was our own family that ruined their life. Sydney defeats Mrs. Loomis with stage props, because Mrs. Loomis randomly starts acting like a wild animal that's confused. They both start fighting, and Miss Loomis holds Sydney at ransom, as Cotton comes in with a gun. They both Phoenix right to their case, and why Cotton should kill the other person. But the interview Sydney promises gets Mrs. Loomis killed. She should have just yelled objection. Objection! The movie ends with Dewey and Gail riding with, not on, with each other in an ambulance. Cotton gets all the attention he totally deserves. And Sydney walks across the field with a zoom out shot. Now the film is over, I will rank the survivability and how the film ranks in a tier list. I believe the average person can survive Scream 2. For Scream 2, I think I'll rank it in a B tier, which feels lower than it should be. Welcome possibly back to you versus, and I'll see you next time.